Welcome to episode 18 of the Real Estate Brothers live on Facebook and Zoom. I'm Dean Ueda and our other co-host is Lane.
So listen to the Real Estate Brothers today.
As always, we start off with our legal disclaimer regarding, um, you know, we're providing you edutainment, so please seek your own professional legal accounting advice for your decisions. Yeah. So, like Lane said, I'm Dean, real estate professional, and you can find me on Facebook, LinkedIn, YouTube. And let's start off. This month we don't have any stats yet because, as we mentioned, they all come out on the 6th in terms of the Honolulu island-wide stats. So starting off, we just want to let everybody know the monthly $20 Amazon gift drawing is still going on. So please share and comment on Facebook. Let us know what you folks think. Congratulations to Kristen. That's this past month's winner. Thank you everyone for your feedback. Very helpful to let us know how we're doing, especially when you folks provide us looking for critical feedback. Yeah, so it's always good to hear, and we take it to heart.
And we're gonna try and do some of these live in person.
Yeah. So that should be fun. Trying to change things up for people who aren't able to tune in at the lunch hour and stuff. Yeah. So speaking of feedback, I just wanted to go over some feedback that was provided during these discussions. So go back one lane if you don't mind. So one investor had asked me about why we do these videos or these Facebook live events or consultations or whatever. And I think, Lane, when you had approached me the first time to do these things, and I was like, it sounds like fun. And I think first and foremost for us, it's something that has to be fun. For me, talking about real estate is something that I'm very passionate about. So I want everyone to feel how I feel and see my passion. I think it helps me to be relevant in terms of what's going on in the world, and also holds me accountable. I want people to see me that what I'm saying here on social media is what I'm practicing, what I'm preaching to my clients and through my investments. I also, I told them, it might help my real estate business as a realtor. So, a venue for me to share my thoughts for everyone's comments and opposition. This is a way to allow me to grow. So that's why I do it. I don't know, Lane, why do you do it?
Well, if we don't have to do these every month, I stopped paying attention to news headlines and data.
Right.
So
right. Relevant,
accountable. Yeah.
See, same here. Cussing. So Lane, they said, oh yeah, Lane cusses once in a while. What's up with that? But so just something to keep in mind. But it's our show, so we can do what we want, really.
Yeah. Well, we'll keep that to the Simple Passive Cashflow show.
Okay, we do appreciate the feedback totally. And then the other one was the not to be a dork. I think that viewer was referring to the Snoop Doggy Dog, drop it like it's hot reference I did in the last in our last episode. But that's part of why we do this, is I want to have fun too, so and show you my personality. But again, thanks for the feedback. Like I said, we don't have Wahoo stats for the month for August just yet, so I wanted to talk about the Koa Ridge development update. A few viewers and clients had asked me about this, so as of last week Wednesday, the word on the street is that we're still in the mass grading phase, and they're still planning to have sales releases start in early 2020, with move-in to start in the quarter 3 or Q4 of that year, of next year. But in the next few months, they'll have a little bit better idea of if this schedule is still something that they can hold to. So if you want to be updated on Koa Ridge, just shoot me an email and I'll send you updates when I hear them from Castle and Cook. Yeah.
And this is supposed to be like Milani Malka, right? It's like a planned community with low income parts too?
Yeah, so they're saying, I think it's the first phase, 3,500 doors is what they're saying. It's going to be single family as well as townhouses. I believe 30% needs to be um, affordable housing, um, based on the requirements that was part of the deal, yeah, for the development. So 30% would be quote unquote affordable housing.
And it's supposed to be like a little bit cheaper than Malka, but more expensive than Kapolei.
Well, see that the affordable housing will that's determined by the requirements, and then everything else is going to be market, right? So you got to think about it that this is going to be new inventory, right? And so it's going to be market prices. It could potentially be above mock. We're not sure, and I don't think the developers are saying anything about that either.
Yeah.
Because until the door is open for sale to determine what's market rate and what's going to be the affordable requirements. I don't think much is going to be said up until that point. Yeah. So shoot me email. I'll keep you up to date.
And if you guys are watching live, you guys can go ahead and type questions into the Q&A box.
Yeah.
One of the perks of going live. And that's kind of why we're going to try and do these things in a live venue, so we can get more interaction out of folks in the future.
Yeah, live as in person, right? That's what I mean, versus Facebook Live or anything.
Yeah.
Okay.
Real life.
And okay, so I was looking at Inman the other day, and then found another instance of Amazon taking over the world. But I guess back in May, Amazon started selling these really small houses that you can order via Amazon, and they're like for like 7-8 grand, tiny ones, but they apparently sold out like immediately. So just last week, Amazon, if you go onto their site, you can see that they're gonna have these small homes for sale at 105K. They're gonna be 774 square feet, and they're provided by this distributor from Estonia called Q House. Not available yet, but I think you can put your orders in. So I was looking at some of the stats, and it's 105,000 for 774 square feet. That's like $136 a square foot. So I don't know. That's kind of pricey. We'll have to wait till more details come on, but just was trying to run some back of the envelope numbers to see if these kind of things would make sense for us here, yeah, in terms of trying to cure our housing crisis, or maybe another way to if you get ADU approval, you can put something up small right next to your home and have your in-laws or rent it out if that's legal. I remember last year there was a story about actually this guy I knew from high school. Kailua, he put he hired a company. They put 2 Matson containers on the top of his 1-story house to make it 2-story, and they opened up like an in-law suite. But the bones were made by 2 Matson containers were the skeletons of that. So I thought this was kind of interesting. But they made the news, and it's kind of interesting. And there's a lot of these companies out there apparently. So we'll see how Amazon does with this. I went and actually Googled it too. I think I could Google like DIY homes, and on the next slide you see what one example that popped up that they'll actually mail to Milani. Go on the next slide, Lane. So this one is actually available right now, and it'll ship in 6 weeks. So it's like 37 grand, and I think it was I think this one was actually 20 by 40 expandable, so it's actually pretty big. And when I went to this Waizen Heng provider, they have a bunch of different stuff available. I don't know. Anyway, I thought that was kind of interesting about how Amazon's selling houses that you can buy and they'll ship it to you. You still got to build them, but
it's like that commercial with the she shed, right?
The she shed?
Yeah.
It's a tongue twister? What is that?
I don't know. There's a commercial like that, like an Allstate commercial, but it's like a modular little shed in the backyard like this.
Oh, just don't
But
build it by the seashore, right?
yeah, I think like this I don't know if it's like an ADU because it's not really. I'm sure there's all kinds of loopholes. Like you can say, oh, it's not in the foundation. It's a mobile home. Is it a mobile home? We don't know. Is it like RV? Is it like a van? All
Right.
kinds of different loopholes.
Just got to be careful though. And I mean, hurricane season, right? If it's not mounted to slab, it's gonna go. Actually, I was watching a video last night. There's these homes that they build the slab into the home. I mean, this is more for the mainland though, right? But they're building it in these huge warehouses that include the slab. And I guess the reason why they're doing that is they can control the weather in the giant warehouse where they're building these model homes, and it helps them with quality control and all that, and then they just ship it out by truck, I guess, out to wherever you order it from. Again, that's for more mainland US kind of places, but I thought it was kind of interesting that they're doing that. So yep.
And this is our commercial break for pre-made meals. Go to Good Clean Food, use our code Aloha10 for 10% off of that. So I'm gonna go. I've got a few items I wanted to kind of use as teaching points, and then we'll kind of go through some more market updates. So here's an example. We talk about a lot of data on this show. Dino will have his data for next month for all the housing sales. But sometimes you got to look at this data with kind of like a grain of salt. It's like on the top here, it's saying units completed. Dallas and Seattle have the most units completed, which is typically not a good thing, right? Because that's new units coming on board to take inventory rate from the demand. But as a percentage, that's Dallas doesn't even rank in terms of percentage, right? So you really got to think about this data. How useful is it? Another example, people always say, oh, I was looking at this top 10 list of best places for rentals or whatnot, or best places to live. I mean, I don't really look into those very much because there's like about 100 of those type of rankings, and they're all very skewed, and there's no rubric. It's just kind of just to sell magazines and newspapers, in my opinion.
And I wonder if it's based on like who paid for ad space.
Right. So a couple items that I want to talk about my personal rental portfolio is the single family home that I have in Atlanta got trashed. And here's a little thread with my insurance company who really didn't do anything to help me. So wasn't too happy about that. I don't know, what's your track record with actually getting these things paid out, these claims in your end?
Knock on wood, I haven't. Knock on wood again. I haven't really had to file a claim at this point in time, so I can't say I have any track record. So this is kind of a bummer. Yeah, it kind of makes me think like how my dad is always like, yeah, don't get insurance. It's all full of it,
Yeah, I'm not hitting a really good batting average on getting the stuff claimed by insurance, but I mean, you still need it. But
right.
I mean, the single family home landlord insurance, in my opinion, isn't worth much. But the commercial stuff, I think I've had some pretty good luck there. Actually, been able to put in claims to say that there was hail, so we get new roofs. So on that end, it's good. But yeah, not doing very well. And then you saw this, Dean. You voted here.
I voted number 1, the first one.
So I'm selling a few of my turnkey rentals in Atlanta. And I just wanted to put this in the Facebook group just to have people look at some of the track record here. Or get a sense of, yeah, you're going to get multiple offers. I'm sure you do this with your clients, right? But if you want to kind of explain this for folks, 2 different things is the purchase price and then who's coming in with amount of earnest money or financing.
Right. Yeah, like you said, Lane, that that offer coming in, it's not just based on that price that's coming in, right? That's important factor, but there's all these other factors, right, in terms of how much they're committing to with their earnest, and then of course the financing, right? We talk about cash being king, and there is a lot of truth to that. So I think that's, in my vote, I voted for that first one, which was a cash deal before
Yeah.
you got that better offer, which congratulations, I'm happy for you. But so.
Yeah. So I got the, on the thing on the left, those were the offers on the table a couple days after we went live with the listing. So my response to my agent was, hey, let's wait till a few more days, give them a date where it's best and final at this point.
Mm-hmm.
And then that way he goes to all the individual agents for all the offers and he says, hey man, whisper price. If you can get up to 140 cash, it's yours.
Right. Yeah, that's a good way to do it, especially when you have that much interest. Yeah, multiple offer situation. Now you have the leverage as the seller to not to say command things, but you have a lot of leverage versus if you're just dealing with one offer coming in. So
yeah, and that's when I smell blood. Right, you got all the leverage, you got multiple offers, you already got your asking price, and now you get after it and you see who really wants this property.
yeah,
And you kind of tell them what you want, and hopefully they pay more.
Right. Yeah, that's an awesome strategy.
How are things going in Hawaii? Are people still doing cash? I mean, here it was Atlanta, they're totally different market, but it looked like half was cash, half was financing.
I think it depends where you're playing. Yeah. We see cash deals. On a lot of investors come in with cash deals, but like a lot of the owner occupied are coming in financed. Seeing a lot of VA loans too coming in that are winning out too, which is it's great for the buyer. When I'm consulting with VA clients, it's always good. It's a good time because of the fact that because inventory is starting to build up in general on Oahu, is giving the buyers, especially the VA buyers, more chance, because as we discussed, a lot of times the VA loans or the VA buyers, it's a great product for the buyer, but it also allows for them to put a less of a down payment. So when you have a multiple offer situation and you have somebody with a larger cash down payment, that will tend to win over a VA with a smaller loan, smaller down payment, even if their offer purchase price is greater, because like you said, there's a lot of other factors rather than just the price that going to play when we're analyzing the offers that come in. So yeah, so for VA, it's a good time for the VA buyer. Sorry, I think I'm going off on a tangent.
Yeah. Great. You got like a wind tunnel out there. It sounds like you're in a hurricane.
Oh, you know what? Sorry about that.
So the yield spread here is the difference between the 10-year treasury rate and basically the blue line is 10-year treasury and the orange line is the average cap rate. And this is something that I keep telling people, like people are always concerned, like, oh, the treasury is going higher or lower and thus controlling the interest rate. I think one of the biggest lies lending brokers tell their clients is like, oh, the rates are lower, you better buy now or refinance now. Of course, they like that when they, you make a new loan with them. But as an investor or even a long-time home buyer, all you really care about is the delta between the two. And as you can see, historically, it kind of stays pretty consistent, that difference. The difference is what is, obviously you're making more money than you're borrowing at, right? That's essentially what a bank is doing. So if you look back at 2006, 2007, that's what I personally call cap rate compression. That's when that delta isn't that as big.
Okay.
What you want is a consistent spread, because as an investor, you're making, if you take like 5.4% minus 2%, and then you apply leverage, right? You're getting a loan on that. You multiply it by 4 or 5 times, and that's your total return. That's how you make money as an investor.
So with that said, if I'm reading this right, so because that the cap rate is relatively consistent, but our treasury went down, that delta got bigger, so that's a good thing.
Yeah, I mean, it's temporary now, right? But it'll bounce
Yeah,
back, right? Just like how you see
right.
2012, 2016.
But there is a trend on the cap rates going a downward trend, right? And so I'm assuming that's the values going up and not as going up quicker than the rent rates. And
Right. Well, that's just the price. That's the kind of the number at the end of the tailpipe of how much these investments are churning out for
right.
investors.
Got it.
So this is where the term comes, investors, astute investors are starving for yield these days
Yep.
because they're, 20 years ago, they're used to like 8%. Now it's 5%. So this is why you're not seeing deals that more than double your money in 5 years. They're just kind of hard to come by.
Yeah.
Here's some key takeaways from another commercial investor report that I put on here. You guys can take a look at that later or pause the video. And we have these slides available on the website too at reialoha.com for all the past videos too. Here's a interesting statistic that I pulled out. So this is called delivery pipeline by market. So this is what this is showing is the amount of new inventory coming on board. Like Dean was talking about Koa Ridge. How many units was that?
I think this first phase is 3,500 doors, so that's single family and townhouses.
Yeah. So if you're looking, the number there is the amount of sort of doors that are coming online. Koa Ridge is just one development in one of the smaller markets. So you can see kind of the scale. If Koa Ridge completely came online, it would be like, what is that? A fraction of San Francisco all the way at the bottom. Right.
Right.
So ideally, this is an indicator of growth, yet as an investor, you want to keep an eye on this because you don't want the inventory to overflow the supply.
Right.
More drama in the whole China trade wars here. What do we want to kind of cover here? What's kind of the highlights? Well, yeah, there are a lot of ups and downs in the stock market, right?
Yeah, day traders must be loving it, right? Are you day traders out there? Are you guys having fun?
Yeah. Get a life, guys. It's all ordinary income. You got to pay taxes on all that.
No, you can day trade your 401k. Some guys do that. It's not as instant, but you can day trade your 401k. Like you said, get a life, but
so that's kind of the valuation of the won, and then they said that it's kind of falling below this threshold of 6.0, which is a key threshold. Some more articles on the 2 and the 10-year note inversion. I think this is getting a little bit more press than it should. People are freaking out. This happens all the time. I mean, people are saying a recession's coming. I remember in 2012 they were saying it. I remember they were saying it in 2016. And here we are again. This stuff sells newspapers.
Yeah. And one thing too is you always hear the reminder too, right? It's a cycle, and it's part of a healthy cycle, right? I mean, it's the part of the ups and the downs. We can't just go up forever. So just try to take advantage of the cycles, right?
Yeah, I'll just say, the one mistake I see newer investors make is that they use this stuff as an excuse, subconsciously or consciously, not to do anything, and I think that's a big mistake.
Let's sit and wait, right?
Yeah. So the Fed cut rates first time since the recession, which was a big thing. Some people say that they shouldn't have raised it the last time.
I think we talked about that in our last episode, right?
Yeah.
Try not to get political.
Yeah. Some people say that they get people mad at Trump or whatnot. I don't know what to believe, to be honest. But I do know that the stock market is like this little roller coaster here.
So
And
day traders are loving it, right? Up, down, up, down. I mean, that's how you make your money.
yeah, and I would say people like try and get away from like the mainstream articles and news sources and get to a little more industry specific one. I have here one from Commercial Property Executive. The links are going to probably be available through the PDF that we have on arialoho.com for all these videos we do. But it's just interesting to hear their take on the situation. Um, here they say typically when you see a yield curve invert, banks begin to tighten lending standards and they make fewer loans.
So,
I actually just got an email from my lending broker who does the apartments for us from the Freddie Mac side, and he said that they've already hit their lending quota for the year.
wow. Okay.
But and don't worry, they'll always you know how it is at work, right? Or especially every bureaucracy, right? They just keep it going. They'll just increase the quota, or they'll just increase the lending standards, so limits the supply.
Yeah, the show must go on. What are they gonna do for the next 4 months, right?
Yeah.
That's interesting though.
So there is some bunch of movements on timeshares and stuff like that. I did a podcast. I had a lawyer on talking about he helps people get out of their timeshares, and the reason why these timeshares are probably the worst thing you can invest in is you have negative equity going in, because as soon as you purchase it, you've got to, if you ever want to get out, you got to pay a huge sum of money to leave your monthly annual commitment.
Wow.
So
But people are they're not doing it when they're getting it. They're not doing it for the finance. They're not looking at the finance, like the numbers, right?
yeah, but the problem is some people think it's investing.
Oh,
right?
Okay. Yeah, I mean, because I don't know, I just, like you said, I thought it was more like an emotional purchase. Like, I go over to Aulani and they want to get you to talk to them, which is totally cool. But it's very touchy-feely, and you're in the element, right, of the Disney. So it's like, oh, okay.
Right. They're most of their clients are actually older people.
Oh yeah.
And part of that is not that the older people got taken advantage of, but they're just older now, and they're realizing that this thing is bleeding their money on their fixed incomes, and they just can't handle it anymore. So the pain is getting too much, so they got to unload these timeshares. So that's what these lawyers help these people out with. So you guys can read the article and go to the podcast there. And then I've been reading this book.
Ooh, neat. Yeah.
You ever read this one?
I have a while ago. I think one of the things. Oh, I'll let you talk first about that one. Go ahead.
Well, yeah, I mean, so I'll just give the overview, and then you can give some of your takeaways. But it's about like you're supposed to wake up early and do all your stuff first, like go to the gym, do all of your important projects, meditate first. One of the biggest takeaway was like, you don't really need 8 hours of sleep. I mean, the theory is like if you're working towards your passion, I don't know, I guess you can just run off the fumes of hard work and determination.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
Yeah. But what was you read this book? Any takeaways off this one?
I think it was just the book that had one of the things was affirmations to do in the morning.
Yeah, the acronym is like SAVERS, right?
Right. So I couldn't do all of them. Like the meditation was a little bit hard, or the prayer. But what I did get from this was when I was earlier, I would pick up the first thing I do when I woke up is grab my phone and look at the emails or any texts that I might have missed. And I stopped doing that after taking a look at this book, and I start as soon as I wake up with the affirmations, and giving thanks to what I have, and I wake up and, for example, and thank you for having a roof under my head, and a family, healthy family, that kind of stuff. And that's just to start it off. It takes like it feels like few minutes, but it probably takes 30 seconds in your head.
You still
And
do
that's,
this?
I do. I try to. And that's better than picking up the phone and starting looking at these emails and, I got to take care of this, So it's kind of a better way to start your day. And I think that was part of what the whole Miracle Morning is about, right? You want to get up and running and start off positive, I think. So that was one of my takeaways that I'm just trying to continue.
Yeah. I mean, I admit that's what I do. I mean, because most of my folks are on the mainland. I mean, I
Yeah,
wake up to like a
yeah,
myriad of
yeah,
emails, and then once I seem to get it all done, those guys are off work at 5 p.m.
yeah, yeah,
5 o'clock our time, yeah, or
right, right,
noon. Actually, right now, when we get off of this call, I'm sure I'll have like 20 emails from guys who just got home and
right.
cleaning out their inbox on their personal time.
Well, thank you for your time, Lane.
Yeah,
Appreciate it.
but I don't know. I had mixed feelings about this book because I saw Hal Elrod speak a few weeks ago
Oh, cool.
when I was in Dallas.
Okay.
So I was like, I guess I'll finally read this book. I know a lot of people are very crazy about this book,
Mm-hmm.
but for me, it was like, I don't know. I mean, yeah. I mean, I probably should just not do emails first thing, right?
I mean, to each their own, right? Like you said, if you're driven and that's that's what you're gonna feed off of to get you pumped up, then that's one thing. I think the reason why I had read that you don't want to do that is because sometimes you'll get emails of the news and there's negative press. So you want to get rid of the negativity first thing when you wake up, and you want to start it off positive. I think that's the takeaway, or to sum up why you want to start off with something like the meditation or the affirmations, or I forgot
Yeah.
what the S was.
So we have a online Facebook group, arialoha.com. You guys can get access to that or talk to Dean. And here are some stats about it. It's been going for the last few years. Most of it is dudes, 2/3 to 1/3. Yeah, but we got like 360 members. It's been slowly increasing over the last few months. I decline a lot of people from the mainland, and just a lot of weird people.
You're mean.
Well, I mean, hey, my group, my rules.
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah,
I
yeah.
try to make it. You cannot filter everybody. You can't tell, right? But you
Yeah,
try
yeah.
your best, right?
Go with your gut.
Yeah,
That's why first impressions are so important, right?
right. You don't get in the door a lot of times, so they are
Yeah.
important. About 283 of them are active, and here's something interesting, Dean. Like most of the people are active on Mondays, Fridays, and Saturdays,
Huh.
and most people are active in the morning and after lunchtime, probably for lunch hour.
Oh, that's why we're doing what we're doing.
Yeah, but
Should have done it on Friday.
oh, I was gonna talk about this earlier, but here's a calculator. If people haven't, are still working with financial planner or in paper assets, I have three kind of graphs here, and they're supposed to outline what the management costs are on some of these things. And you might say, oh, I'm in a low ETF or I'm in a low fee mutual fund, but it may seem low, but there's a lot of hidden fees that aren't really disclosed to you. And so on the bottom, on the upper right, the difference there is the 2% management cost. And you can see it's over $1 million of fees over the 30-year period compared to the bottom right where there's no fees. And now your portfolio grew over $1 million. Um, $3 million compared to $2.3 million. So the fees are huge, even though they sound small.
Yeah.
Mm,
That's why, like, I think Buffett and even that Tony Robbins has that new book out, right? And they're all preaching, uh, go for the no fees, go for the ETFs, self managed, or
yeah.
right.
But even within those, there's a lot of hidden management fees too.
Mm.
So, that's kind of what we meet up in person. We do these different events, and we'll try and do these things more Yeah, and you guys want to do if you guys don't have any questions, you got go ahead and type up your question and answers in the question. We'll try to get to them. But if not, we'll try and do a meeting like this in person, probably at your guys' office there, Dean, in
Sounds good. Yeah, yeah.
Ala Moana. And if you guys comment on Dean's Facebook post, you guys can get an entry for the $20 gift card from Amazon, and more entries, more points there if you share it as opposed to just comment.
Yep, that's a good point.
Anything else, Dean, before we head off?
No, just thanks for everyone for tuning in. Really appreciate the support and your feedback always. And yeah, hopefully we're providing information you want to hear. If not, let us know what you want to hear, and we can talk about it.
Okay. All right. We'll talk to everybody later. Bye.
See ya. Bye.
Free real estate investing group. Check out reialoha.com.
We're just two local guys with so much to say. So listen to the Real Estate Braddahs today.